Heavy Rain does what most games only aspire to. It teases real, genuine emotion out of you. It does this as you guide its cast of downtrodden, everyday people through a dreary urban crime story rife with dark secrets, serial killings, betrayals, and the rain-soaked gloom that pervades pretty much every inch of it. There's no traditional action here. You're not aiming a gun and shooting at anybody or jumping from one platform to the next. Story is just about the only thing Heavy Rain is focused on, and I think it's really a sign of just how hard it is to pull off a great story-driven game that even this game, which devotes all of its energy to that one goal, is only mostly successful at achieving it.
I'm sorry. I thought you were a tough guy.
The course of Heavy Rain's events is just about as dismal and depressing as you want to make it. The four loosely connected characters you switch between, the boozy gumshoe, the feisty newspaper reporter, the out-of-town FBI agent, and the despondent divorced dad struggling with the loss of his child, all face significant, rigorous decisions throughout the story, the kind that really force you to stop and think about what you're going to do.
Now, I want you to put the gun back in your pocket and quietly walk out of the store. My friend and I will forget about what just happened, and you'll have earned a second chance not to fuck up your life. What do you say?
In fact, Heavy Rain does that vaunted moral choice thing better than just about any game that I can remember. These decisions are not to be taken lightly. A couple of times I had to pause the game and actually step away for a minute to really ponder the gravity of what it was I was being asked to do. Your characters face these choices under extreme duress, and you've really only got seconds to act. So you end up having to go with your gut in a lot of cases before the full consequences of your choice are actually clear. What's more, your actions, and in some cases your failure to act, can lead to dramatic changes in the storyline, even the deaths of playable characters. That naturally creates a plot line that can veer all over the place and really vary wildly from one playthrough to the next. So the best thing about playing Heavy Rain is getting to see how your narrative evolves and plays out based on your responses to its most harrowing quandaries. The potential for variation is so great that there's a good chance that your version of the events will be very different from the next guy's, especially the ultimate resolution of the story. Actually playing Heavy Rain is a pretty abstract process, since you interact with the game mostly by walking around its dingy urban environments and pushing analog sticks and buttons when prompted to perform whatever actions are relevant at the moment. There's a certain strange empowerment to making a character get a beer out of the fridge, or take a shower, or urinate, but the gameplay is really at its best when the circumstances are dire, the tension is high, and you're just flailing away at the controller to scrape through one crazy action sequence or another. Heavy Rain's dramatic QuickTime events aren't like other games where you have to start the same canned animation over and over when you blow it. Instead, they really fluidly connect branching actions together into a seamless animation that makes you feel like you're actually guiding it yourself, even when you don't hit every button perfectly. It's no exaggeration to say I was actually literally on the edge of my seat for most of these scenes, and not just because you need a little open space to move the 6-axis around.
Jason!
Actually, that's the only real drawback I've found in playing Heavy Rain. Once in a rare while, its controls aren't quite as responsive as you'd like, usually when the 6-axis gestures are involved. I only had to go back and replay a handful of scenes again after feeling like the game hadn't quite accepted my inputs properly, but those few times were enough to slow down the story, which otherwise really moves pretty swiftly from one reveal to the next. The walking controls are also a little clunky. It's more silly looking than outright frustrating when you get hung up on a piece of furniture or get stuck in a corner, but it still kind of sticks out. Other than a couple of plot twists that kind of come out of left field, Heavy Rain's storyline is intelligently plotted and plausible. Everything feels like it pretty much fits together and makes sense. But I felt like the technical rendition of some of these deeply human characters wasn't always quite human enough. From some odd conversational word choice here and there between the characters to occasional instances of those lifeless zombie eyes that kind of plague all synthetic humans. The believability of Heavy Rain's moment-to-moment interactions doesn't always match the overall quality of the story. But plenty of scenes in this game do convey genuine, emotionally affecting human drama, and the overall arc of the plot is so interesting it's worth overlooking a rough spot now and then. Heavy Rain's filmic qualities also really go a long way to help sell the experience. Every scene feels like it was put together and blocked out for a TV drama or a movie rather than a video game. And the camera work does a good job of emphasizing the action, sometimes from more than one angle simultaneously. And the moody score really deserves special mention for subtly emphasizing the most emotional moments at the right times. It does a great job of employing different variations on the same themes to enhance the story's high points without overpowering them. Quantic Dream has come a long way since Indigo Prophecy. Heavy Rain is probably the single most effective effort yet to not only show you a resonant piece of drama, but really let you influence it in a meaningful way. Even if the game's story isn't absolutely airtight and its characters aren't all perfectly believable, the net emotional effect of playing it leaves an indelible impression that you'll probably be thinking and talking about for a long time to come.